Have you ever felt that heavy weight in your chest when someone you really care about starts to drift away? It's a lonely feeling that settles deep inside you and doesn't want to leave. Most of the time, the people around you will give you the same old advice. They might tell you to just give up and move on, or they might say the opposite, that you need to try 3 times as hard, put in more work, and show her just how much she means to you. They tell you to be there for her every second of the day, to prove your worth through constant attention and effort. But there is a truth out there that is a bit uncomfortable to hear, and it's something most men are never told. Women don't actually miss men because they need them for something practical. They miss men because those men have a way of staying in their hearts and minds, even when they aren't standing right in front of them. This talk we're having today isn't about using sneaky tricks or pretending to be someone you aren't. It's definitely not about begging for a second chance, chasing someone who is running away, or trying to talk a woman into liking you. Actually, doing those things is the fastest way to push someone even further away. What we are really going to look at today is how people's hearts and minds actually work. We're going to talk about real human behavior and the feelings that happen deep down where we don't always see them. When a woman seems like she doesn't care, it doesn't mean things have to stay that way forever. It's just a reaction to how things feel right now. And the good news is that reactions can change when the way she sees you changes. If a woman loses interest, it doesn't mean you are a failure or a bad person. It just means the way you two interact has changed. Maybe the mystery is gone, or maybe the respect has slipped away. Once you understand how that happens, you can learn how to fix it in a way that is calm and quiet. You won't even have to say a single word. By the time we finish our talk today, you'll see something very important. Making a woman miss you isn't just about being lucky. It's about understanding a way of acting that most men were never taught. It's about playing the game of life a little differently. Here is something that is hard for many men to hear, but it's a lesson you really need to take to heart. The harder you run after a woman, the faster she will run away from you. Chasing after someone feels like the most natural thing in the world, doesn't it? When you like someone, you want to show them you care. You send more texts. You try to find ways to make her smile. You try to prove that you are a good guy who deserves her time and attention. But when it comes to how our hearts work, this usually backfires in ways you never expected. Why does that happen? Because when you chase, you change the balance between the two of you. Instead of her feeling like she is lucky to have your time and attention, she starts to feel like she owns it. And when something feels too safe and easy, the spark of wanting it starts to go out. Nobody misses something that they can have as much of as they want, whenever they want it. When you are always the one reaching out, asking how she is, and trying to get her to say she likes you, you take away her chance to think about you on her own. You've done all the hard emotional work for her, so she doesn't have to do any. Think about it like this. If you have a favorite snack and it's always in your kitchen, you might forget it's even there. But if the store runs out and you can't find it anywhere, suddenly you want it more than anything. When you are always available, you stop feeling special. But the moment you aren't a sure thing anymore, her mind starts to pay attention again. Chasing also sends a message that you might not even realize you're sending. It tells her that you're worried. It tells her that you don't believe in yourself enough to just stand still and let things grow at their own pace. That feeling of not being sure of yourself is something women can sense, and it can quietly push them away. People are drawn to those who respect their own time. They like people who don't try too hard and who don't need a lot of praise to feel good about themselves. So, if you want a woman to start missing you, especially if she seems like she doesn't care right now, the first step is very simple. Stop chasing her. Take a step back and leave some empty space between you. That empty space is exactly where curiosity is born. And curiosity is the very first step toward making someone want to be near you again. Many men think that talking all the time is the best way to keep a woman interested. They send good morning texts, how is your day texts, and keep conversations going for hours and hours. It looks like you're putting in effort, but it often does the opposite of what you want. When your words are always there, they start to lose their value. But silence is different. Silence has a lot of power. It creates a gap, and that gap makes people wonder. When it comes to how women feel, wondering about someone is much more powerful than being told everything is okay over and over again. When you aren't always there, her mind starts to fill in the blanks. She starts to wonder what you are up to, who you are talking to, and why you aren't calling like you used to. That wondering is the very beginning of her missing you. Here is a truth that most men miss. Your attention is like money. If you give it away for free to everyone all the time, it becomes common and cheap. But when there isn't much of it to go around, it suddenly feels very expensive and special. This doesn't mean you should be mean to her or play games like a child. Being silent isn't about hurting her feelings. It's about balance. It's about showing her that your whole world doesn't live inside your phone or wait on her to text you back. A man who doesn't feel the need to check in every 5 minutes shows that he is confident and has a life of his own. Those qualities naturally pull people toward you. So keep this in mind. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is nothing at all. Let the quiet moments do the talking. Let the space between you do the work. That silence will often mean more to her than any text message you could ever write. One of the biggest mistakes men make when they are dating is thinking that being available whenever she wants will make her like them more. They answer texts the second they arrive, they cancel their own plans just to see her, and they keep their whole day open just in case she calls. What they don't see is that being around all the time actually kills desire. When you are always there, you become easy to predict, and being predictable eventually leads to being boring. There is no mystery, no challenge, and no reason for her to put in any effort. She already knows you'll be there no matter what she does. Human beings don't usually value things that come too easily. We value the things that take a little bit of work and some waiting. The same thing is true here. When you make yourself too easy to get, you are quietly telling her that your time isn't worth very much. Men who are truly attractive don't make their whole lives about one person. They have jobs, hobbies, friends, and dreams that are important to them. And sometimes, that means they just aren't free to talk. Saying, "I can't right now, I'm busy," isn't a mean thing to say. It is actually a very healthy thing to say. It shows that you value your own life and that you expect her to value it too. The more you show that your world keeps turning even without her attention, the more she will start to notice when you aren't around. And that feeling of you being gone creates the space she needs to appreciate you. Being there all the time doesn't make someone miss you. Being away does. And when that distance comes from you respecting yourself, it becomes very attractive. Most men are taught that being honest means saying every thought that pops into their heads. They think they should share every plan and every feeling as fast as they can. They believe that being totally open will make them feel closer to her. But when it comes to attraction, being too open too soon actually does the opposite. Liking someone isn't about logic or facts. It's about how someone makes you feel. And feelings grow when there is a bit of curiosity. When a woman doesn't know everything about you yet, her mind starts to imagine things. She thinks about who you are. That mental work is what keeps the spark alive. When you explain every little thing or tell her every feeling you have, you take away the mystery. There is nothing left for her to find out. Think about a movie that you really loved. It's never the movie where they tell you the ending in the first 5 minutes. It's the suspense and the questions that keep you watching until the very end. This is the same idea. Being a mystery doesn't mean you are lying. It just means you are taking your time. It means you are letting things happen slowly and naturally instead of trying to force a deep connection before it has been earned. When you don't tell everything at once, you show that you have depth. You give her something to think about when you aren't there. And that thinking is where the feeling of missing you starts. Remember, it's not what you tell her that she remembers most. It's the things you leave unsaid. Another fast way to lose a woman's interest is by trying to compete for her attention. This happens when a man tries to post better photos, comments on everything she does, or tries to act better than other guys the moment he thinks someone else is interested. This way of thinking is very bad for you because the moment you start competing, you are acting like you are below her. You are telling her that her attention is a prize you have to win, rather than something that should just happen between two people who like each other. Men who know what they are worth don't compete, they attract. A man who feels good about himself doesn't worry about who else is texting her. He knows that if he has to fight for her time, the relationship is already in trouble. Competing also shows that you are not sure of yourself. It shows that you are comparing yourself to other men instead of just being who you are. And that feeling of not being sure of yourself makes you less attractive. Here is the truth. When you stop trying to win, something very interesting happens. You take all the pressure off. You stop looking for her to tell you that you are good enough. And that change alone can completely flip how she looks at you. People are drawn to those who have a lot going on, not those who are begging for a chance. When you act like your time is valuable, other people start to treat it that way too. So don't rush to prove yourself. Don't fight for a turn to talk to her. Live your life as if you already know you are a great person. When you do that, her curiosity will naturally turn back toward you. Many men think that giving more love is the secret to winning a woman's heart. They give more gifts, more nice words, and more emotional work. But there is a hard lesson that many men learn way too late. Love without self-belief doesn't make someone want you. It makes them feel like you are depending on them. Women aren't usually looking for affection first. They are looking for someone who is sure of himself. Being confident shows that you are strong and stable. It makes a woman feel safe and interested without you having to explain why. Think about how often you see a woman choose a man who isn't the richest or the most handsome, but who carries himself with a quiet belief in who he is. That isn't a mistake. Confidence changes the way people see everything you do. Real confidence isn't about being loud or acting like you are better than everyone. It's actually very quiet and calm. It's knowing where you stand and being okay with that. It shows in the choices you make, the lines you draw that you won't let people cross, and your ability to walk away when something isn't right for you. You build confidence through what you do, not what you say. It's about saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's about not explaining yourself too much, not asking for permission to be yourself, and not making yourself smaller just so people will like you. Being nice can make a woman feel good, but confidence is what makes her think about you long after you've left. Feelings might change, but confidence is what stays in her mind. It's what makes her think back on your time together and feel your absence even more. If you want to be someone she can't forget, lead with confidence. The love part can come later. Nothing makes a person realize what they have faster than the feeling that they might lose it. This isn't just a dating tip. It's how all humans work. We don't really value things that we know will always be there. We value the things that we feel we could lose if we aren't careful. This is where many men make a big mistake. They become a permanent part of a woman's life before she has done anything to earn that place. They stay the same even if she treats them poorly or doesn't put in any work. When you do that, you take away any reason for her to try. If she thinks you will always be there no matter what, she doesn't have to think about her own feelings or try to make things better. But the moment she feels a change, maybe you aren't as available, or you aren't chasing her as much, everything shifts. She starts to ask herself questions. She wonders why you feel different. She wonders if you are moving on. She wonders if she made a mistake by not valuing you more. That questioning is very powerful. It makes her focus her attention back on you. And that is where desire starts to grow again. This isn't about being mean or pretending to leave. It's about respecting yourself. It's about showing her that your energy isn't a bottomless well that she can take from whenever she wants. When you are willing to walk away from a situation that isn't good for you, you show that you are strong. And strength is something people want to be around. You don't have to announce that you are leaving. You don't need a big dramatic scene. You just live your life fully, whether she is there or not. In that quiet change, she will start to feel your absence in a way that words could never describe. Here is the part that many men have a hard time accepting, but it's very important. Being a kind and supportive person who is always there doesn't automatically make someone want to be with you. You can be the nicest man with the best heart and still be ignored if you don't have rules for how you want to be treated. Women don't miss men who stay no matter how badly they are treated. They miss the men who are strong enough to walk away when they aren't being respected. If you love someone but don't have any standards for yourself, that love turns into something that pushes people away. The men that women remember the most aren't the ones who begged for attention or waited around forever. They are the men who knew when to stop giving so much of themselves. They are the men who knew when to stop trying so hard and how to walk away with their heads held high. Being gone isn't a way to punish someone. It's a way to get clear on what matters. When you take yourself out of a situation where you aren't valued, you give her the room she needs to think about what she has lost. Sometimes people only realize what they had once it's gone. That is a lesson many men learn the hard way. You have to respect yourself first, or you will be forgotten. The process of making someone miss you is not about manipulation or playing with emotions. It is about understanding the basic principles of human psychology and applying them with integrity. When you stop being available all the time, when you create space, when you demonstrate that you have a full life independent of her validation, you are not being cruel. You are simply showing that you value yourself enough not to settle for breadcrumbs of attention. This self-respect is magnetic. It draws people toward you because it signals that you are someone worth knowing, someone who has standards and boundaries. Think about the people in your own life who command your respect and attention. They are rarely the ones who are always available, always agreeable, always putting everyone else first. Instead, they are the people who know what they want, who stand firm in their values, and who are selective about where they invest their time and energy. These are the people you think about when they are not around. These are the people whose opinions matter to you. The same principle applies in romantic relationships. When you demonstrate through your actions that you are a person of value, that your time is precious, and that you will not accept being treated as an option, you fundamentally change the dynamic. Many men fear that stepping back will mean losing the woman forever. But here is what actually happens in most cases. When you were chasing, you were already losing her. Your constant availability was pushing her away. By stepping back, you are not creating distance that wasn't already forming. You are simply stopping the behaviors that were driving her away and replacing them with behaviors that create attraction. You are giving her the space to recognize what she is losing, and in that space, something interesting happens. She starts to remember the good things about you. She starts to wonder why you are not reaching out anymore. She starts to question whether she made a mistake in taking you for granted. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in every situation. Some relationships have run their course, and no amount of stepping back will revive them. But in many cases, especially when the connection was real at some point, creating space allows both people to gain clarity. For you, it provides the opportunity to evaluate whether this relationship is truly what you want. For her, it removes the comfort of having you always available and replaces it with the discomfort of your absence. That discomfort is what triggers the emotional response of missing someone. Now, I really want to hear what you think. Have you ever been in a spot where you tried way too hard and felt the other person pulling away? Or have you seen the opposite happen, where you stepped back, stayed quiet, and suddenly they came back to you? Please share your story with us in the comments below. I make sure to read them because our community here isn't about being arrogant or just getting hyped up. It's about understanding how we all work, building up our self-respect, and becoming the kind of men that people naturally value. If this talk helped you see things more clearly, please let us know by liking this and staying in touch with us. Your engagement with this content means more than you might realize. Every like, every comment, and every share helps this message reach more men who need to hear it. There are so many guys out there struggling with the same issues, making the same mistakes, and feeling the same pain of being taken for granted or watching someone they care about drift away. When you engage with this content, you help it reach those men. You become part of a community that is choosing a different path, a path of self-respect, understanding, and genuine confidence. If you found value in what we discussed today, I would be incredibly grateful if you would help me reach 1,000 subscribers. This milestone is important not just as a number, but because it represents a growing community of men who are committed to understanding themselves better and building healthier relationships. When you subscribe, you are saying that you want more content like this. You are saying that you value honest conversations about what actually works in relationships, not the fantasy advice that sounds good but fails in real life. Hitting 1,000 subscribers will allow this channel to grow and reach even more people who need these insights. It will enable me to create more content, dive deeper into topics that matter to you, and build a community where men can learn from each other's experiences. Your subscription is not just a click. It is a vote of confidence in this approach to relationships and personal growth. It is a commitment to being part of something bigger than yourself, a movement toward more authentic and respectful ways of connecting with others. So please, take just a moment right now to click that subscribe button. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers so we can continue this journey together and bring this message to even more men who are ready to change their approach to relationships. When you subscribe, you will be notified every time I post new content, ensuring you never miss insights that could transform how you think about attraction, respect, and personal value. Join us in building a community of men who refuse to settle for less than they deserve, and who understand that true attraction comes from self-respect, not from chasing or begging for attention. Thank you for being here today, for listening with an open mind, and for being willing to consider a different approach. The fact that you watched this far tells me that you are serious about improving yourself and your relationships. That commitment to growth is what will set you apart and ultimately lead to the kind of connections you truly desire. Until next time, remember that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. Stand firm in who you are, respect yourself enough to walk away from situations that do not serve you, and trust that the right person will recognize and appreciate what you bring to the table.